Bungie has just showed off their new upcoming game Marathon, a hero-based extraction shooter that's set to release in September. And over the last few days, I've heard everything from this is going to be the best thing that Bungie's ever made, to Bungie should start filing for bankruptcy. And I just wanted to give my opinion on what I think of Marathon as a longtime Destiny player, and to be blunt, I'm not that excited about Marathon, but I wish I was. Also, as a short side note before we get into the video, when I'm talking about Bungie, I'm not talking about specific devs, or the Marathon team in general. I don't believe in harassing game devs. I think this should be kind of self-explanatory, but in today's world, I just want to cover my basis, and after seeing what a bunch of freaks on Twitter's been saying, I just want to put that out there before I start yapping. For some context, I've played Destiny pretty hardcore for the better part of 10 years, and I've played a couple hundred hours in Tarkov, so I'm super familiar with Bungie's work in the extraction shooter genre. But Bungie's track record is the reason why I'm not excited for Marathon. Let me explain. I love Destiny. It was a very important part of my teenage years growing up in high school. I played that game all the time. I have countless fond memories, whether it's day one raids, doing trials runs with the boys, hell, even one of my best friends to this day I met on Destiny back in Vault of Glass. But I also hate some of the decisions that Bungie's made over the years. Double primaries, Curse of Osiris, sunsetting content, oppressive microtransactions, cheaters rampant in PvP for weeks on end. The entire Lightfall expansion. I got a personal vendetta with this one because my entire friend group abandoned the game because of this piece of dog shit. In a lot of ways, Destiny is a great game, but in a lot of other ways, the game has become so repetitive and predictable that I've pretty much stopped playing. And it's not just me who feels this way. I think a huge portion of the Destiny community has just given up on the game after the final shape. It seems like every week there's videos coming out on Tuesday, guys, Destiny is back, we're saved. And then that next day on Wednesday, they're going, guys, it's Jover, pack it up, Destiny's dead. But what's really unique about Destiny and what they can get away with is that they both support PvE and PvP content. If you want to shoot some ads, go into some raids and dungeons, you have that option. And if you want to do some PvP, go in and do some arcade-style domination. But the thing with Marathon is that the main focus is on their PvP. They don't have the luxury of being able to rely on their PvE pinnacle content that some argue is the best in the industry with Destiny's raids and dungeons. And the fact that Bungie can't keep Destiny players engaged and mostly satisfied for the better part of 10 years through trial and error, then what makes you think they're going to do this with Marathon? And at the end of the day, you're not going to make every single person happy, but that's not an excuse that Bungie can make at their next shareholders meeting if the game doesn't sell well. And I can't even imagine what Sony's thinking right now about Marathon. After spending $3 billion acquiring Bungie, if Marathon fails, do you want to know what we're going to see? We're going to see Concord 2.0 levels of failure. We're going to see Paul Tassie's next Forbes headline being massive layoffs at Bungie. And I'll tell you right now, if Destiny 2 takes a dip in quality of content to support this new love child, Bungie is going to fail. And they know this because they just announced a new expansion for Destiny players to give them just enough to edge them along so they can blow thy load into the Eververse store. Alright, that's enough edging jokes for this video. I mean, it was low-hanging fruit right there. I had to grab it. Now, I want to dive into more specific concerns I have with Marathon, starting with the price, which Bungie conveniently hasn't said what that actually is. It's rumored to be about $40, but that's just speculation. Nothing says we're more confident about our game by dropping a reveal, showcasing gameplay, giving us a release date that's only 4 to 5 months out in September, but not giving us a price. My tinfoil hat theory? I think Bungie wanted to see the response of Marathon before giving a price. If people went nuts and got really hyped about it, they'd drop it for $60. But if people said, you know what, I'd rather sell OG Kush on the street corner in Schedule 1, they might give it to us for $20. To me, this shows that Bungie themselves aren't even super confident in how players are going to react to Marathon, and from what I've seen, it's pretty divided. As for microtransactions, oh boy, you better believe they're going to be in this game. One of my favorite videos I've ever seen is Aztecross's video on Destiny 2 has become a microtransaction hell. In this video, he covers the entire history of microtransactions as a whole in Destiny. You should really give it a listen if you got some time. But the point I'm trying to make with this is that if a company has been oppressive with their monetization for years, what makes you think they're going to stop with Marathon? Do you really think if Epic Games launched Fortnite 2 today, that V-Bucks aren't going to be in the game? And Destiny already has battle passes that straight up give you loot and materials that you normally would need to farm for in the game. What's to say that's not going to be the case in Marathon? Hear me out. 5 months down the road, what if you could spend $10 on the battle pass and get increased storage for that wipe? Or endgame level equipment on day one? We'll just have to wait and see how they do it, but I really hope this isn't the case. So before we go any further, I just wanted to quickly pause and let you guys know about a change that happened during the recording and editing process of this video. One of the sections that I made on this video was about the alpha that people were able to sign up for and how it was under an NDA if you signed up for it. I thought this was completely asinine and super shady of Bungie to do, especially since the game is going to be releasing in about 4 to 5 months. So because of that, I was not going to sign up for the alpha, and I criticized it heavily in this video. But when I was editing, they actually lifted this and said that they will no longer be under NDA, and so I did not want to put something in my video that was old news and also criticizing something that they have already addressed. So because of this, I've actually signed up for the alpha, and I want to give the game a try. If I don't get in, it is what it is. I'll try the beta or when the game actually comes out, but I wanted to give credit where credit was due for reversing this decision, and thankfully they did, because oh my god, this was stupid as hell. But with that being said, let me just get right back to what I was saying. Moving on to the reveal, I felt like most of the information that I wanted to know wasn't even in the reveal. It was in the developer interviews with content creators after it. There were multiple of these interviews that took place. I mainly watched MrRoflWaffles and Aztecross's, but these interviews actually had information that I wanted to know and touched on things that weren't even mentioned in the live stream reveal. Like the fact that there's going to be a ranked mode for that more hardcore competitive community, or the fact that they're going to try and improve anti-cheat and it shouldn't be an issue in this game. Like, this shit would have been nice to know during the event. I feel like this was just a massive turnoff to players. Like, I shouldn't have to watch a reveal stream and 3 to 5 separate interviews just to get my core questions answered. Look at Grinding Gear Games and Path of Exile 2. They put so much information into every single one of their developer updates that I could probably watch the thing twice and still miss something. Just straight up, here's the gameplay, here's what we got, let's talk about it. No offense to Bungie, I don't want to hear about it from 4 people on a couch reminiscing about their time developing it. I just want you to show me the gameplay. And this is by no way a diss to the devs. They're just doing their job. This is totally on the marketing department and the way that they did their reveal. I just think that they dropped the ball. Now, I don't want to talk about the art style too much in this video. I'm not a big fan of it, but I don't think it looks bad. I've been seeing people compare Marathon to Operators in Concord, and I think that's a little bit unfair. They don't look that bad, guys. But they also don't look that good. And I'm more of a fan of the environments that they've made in the game rather than the actual character models. But don't worry, if you don't like the way that the characters models look now, I'm sure there's going to be a pretty sick skin for $20 that Bungie will put in Season 1. But Bungie, please make some of these skins unlockable through gameplay achievements. I love the fact when you complete a dungeon solo in Destiny 2, you get an emblem to show off to everybody else that you did this thing. Please make this a thing moving forward in Marathon and allow people to see, oh man, he's got the golden skin, he did some crazy thing in the game. That is what makes people engage and want to play your game. And speaking of gameplay, I kind of want to move into my concerns with it, but it's mostly about the core systems and the gameplay loop rather than the actual gunplay. Gunplay for Bungie's always felt good. I really don't have a worry about this. It's some of the best in the industry, really. But when I look at something like Tarkov, there's so much depth and an entire learning curve to the game. You have to memorize maps, where to find items, what are those items worth, how to complete certain tasks, and the list goes on and on and on. Honestly, too long, to be honest, in my opinion. But you have all that friction on top of the fact that you're going to lose everything if you die. Shroud made a really good point when talking about this, and I'm just going to let him say it because I can't be as graceful with it.
There's so much friction to play Tarkov. Most people don't even open that game. But that friction is what makes the game so popular to its core audience. So it's weird. You come in, you're a new dev or a AAA dev, whatever, and you want to remove the friction? Great. You remove the friction, the game is smooth, the game's easy to play, anyone can just click play and just be right in it. But they only play for a couple weeks or a month, and then they're like, well, there's nothing left to learn. Well, yeah, that's because you just removed all the friction.
I completely agree. Tarkov is a beast, but I feel like that's kind of the appeal of their extraction shooter, and I feel like Bungie may be stripping away too much of that friction for people to get into Marathon. For example, when I was watching the live stream, I saw that everything in their inventory had a price tag and a rarity associated with it. Like, in my opinion, why would I want to keep anything less than $50? It's just a waste of space. But in Tarkov, you wouldn't know that. You'd have to learn what these items are worth and what's worth keeping. And this example might be a nitpick, but I feel like these small things will build up over time and create a more bland experience for players that's played it for over 200 hours moving forward. And there's so many other questions I have and things we can speculate on about Marathon, but I just kind of wanted to read off a few examples that I wrote down on a sheet of paper while I was watching the live stream. They mentioned a black market. Will you be able to sell the things that you've extracted from Raid to other players like in Tarkov? They mentioned sponsor runs. This makes me think of Squire gear. If you're familiar with Dark and Darker, they allow you to actually have a low-level base kit so you can go in knowing that you're going to have a decent kit every raid. Will it be clear if you're fighting enemy AIs or other players? With this unique art style, are we going to even be able to differentiate it from far away? And one of the more core gameplay aspects that I saw was reviving teammates. It seemed more like they were down in Warzone than actually dead in an extraction shooter. It seems like they've taken some of the core elements of popular battle royales to try and streamline this game. So it seems like it's a Bungie FPS that's an extraction shooter that has elements that are common in battle royales. It just seems like a weird mix that I don't really know how it's going to play out until I actually get my hands on it, but I'm just not that excited for it because I don't really know what to get excited about. Now, I am all for Marathon not being as hardcore as Tarkov. Like, I think it's a little ridiculous there isn't a map in Tarkov for players to use or them being posted up for you to navigate where you are throughout the map. You shouldn't have to use a third-party website to let you learn most of a game. So hopefully Marathon can strike a balance and not make this game too boiled down, but also keep some of the friction moving forward. And I'm sure they'll make tweaks, but the launch is going to be what makes or breaks this game. And while we're talking about Tarkov, let's just jump right into my concern with Marathon's anti-cheat. When you look at the current state of Tarkov, it's flooded with cheaters. It's nearly unplayable at times. Because why would players want to invest so much time into a game just to get one-tapped from some virgin 1,000 meters away hiding in a bush with wall hacks, aimbot, loot magnets just to ruin your day and your game experience? I've been killed by cheaters in Tarkov before, and the overflow of cheaters is what's made my entire friend group quit the game. So when I hear that Bungie is making this type of game, my immediate thoughts are all the clips I see of GrenaderJake or my own personal experience where I have a hunter flying at Mach 20 through the map, shooting an infinite ammo grenade launcher before I can even get out of spawn.
Just cheating. Run! Hide! Get away! He's about to speed hack him with golden gun! Run! This is happening in front of thousands of people, and it's just fucking fine, dude.
So if Bungie can't fix this in Destiny 2, then what is going to happen in Marathon? And to be fair, there will always be cheaters. It's not the developer's fault that there are cheaters. And if you're watching this video and you are a cheater, I hope you stub every toe on both feet the next time you get up out of your greasy gamer chair, because you ruin it for everyone. But with how bad cheating has been and dealt with Destiny in the past, I have to be skeptical on how Marathon's going to handle it moving forward, especially with the high stakes that an extraction shooter brings to the table. Now, my next concern with the game that I have is the social aspect of Marathon. There won't be proximity chat in the game at all, and the developers' reason for this is that they feel like it would be too toxic and they don't know how to fix it. Well, Bungie, that has got to be the lamest excuse that I have ever heard. Over the last 10 years, I have heard some of the most heinous shit in Call of Duty lobbies and even your own LFGs that I see for your game. Listen, when you're playing an online game, you're signing up to hear things you don't like. Look, Bungie has been very open and takes great pride in being one of the most progressive studios in the industry. Why don't you just make people accept something similar to like the Guardian Pledge on Destiny 2's LFG? And if someone violates that by like saying something racist, allow players to report them to potentially get banned. Now let me be clear. If you're in an online game and someone says something that you don't like, that does not mean they should get banned. If Bungie does something similar to what I'm talking about, I really hope that it's just super simple, like just don't be racist, don't be extremely rude. I don't want to see someone get banned because someone's hiding in a corner and someone's like, oh my gosh, you're such a pussy. Like, that should not be bannable. And those experiences are what makes extraction shooters fun. Like the amount of times I've been on Tarkov and I see someone down the hall, I call out to them and we're having an exchange back and forth. It gets a little rowdy and maybe we team up for the whole match and we make it out alive. Maybe we turn on each other. But those are the moments that make Tarkov and their proximity chat so good. And if this game doesn't have it, I just feel like they're missing out on an opportunity. And these are the main reasons why I'm not excited for Marathon. Listen, I hope Bungie makes a good game and it succeeds, but I'm just really not getting that impression from what I've seen so far. Hopefully they prove me wrong and this doesn't become another disappointing live service game that's eventually going to shut down. We've been getting a lot of those recently. Let me know in the comments down below, what are your thoughts on Marathon? Do you agree or disagree with what I'm saying? I'm open to all the feedback, just let me know. If you enjoy the video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!